From Eazy E's life taking a turn for the worse in February of 1995 to the Jewish Defense League possibly being behind his murder, let's take a look at the mysterious final days of Eazy E. After forming N.w.a. with Dr. Dre and Ice Cube, Eazy E was on top of the world for years. But all of that came crashing down in February of 1995. Eazy E had been dealing with a terrible cough for some time, and it got so bad that he had to be admitted to the Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles. At first, he thought it wasn't anything too serious, as he was under the impression that he had a bad asthma attack. But unfortunately for him, it was much worse. On the 16th of March of that same year, he released a statement to his fans in which he told them that he had contracted AIDS, leaving the hip-hop world in shock. It didn't take long for the rap artist's condition to deteriorate so badly that he was in critical condition. Because of Eazy E's horrible state, his friend and attorney Ron Sweeney read out the statement in which Eazy told his fans to be careful and understand that AIDS could attack anyone. Eric described his condition as the biggest fight of his life, though he made sure to send his love and thanks to all those who supported him throughout the years. Many hoped Eazy E would make it out of this alive, since he was such a huge figure in the world of music, but just 10 days after he released the statement, he passed away. It was declared that Eric lost his life because of pneumonia caused by AIDS. So that begs the question, how did the rap icon contract the virus? Well, everyone's been wanting to know the answer for years, but there are a few theories that touch upon this question. The most straightforward one, which even Eazy E had a feeling was true, was that he caught it from one of his many sexual partners. While the rapper married his longtime girlfriend of 4 years, Tamika Woods, 2 days before dying, it was no secret that Eazy E used to get busy when it came to getting with women. He himself was pretty open about his many past relationships, and he had 11 children with 8 different women. Yeah, you heard that right. What's more, those are only the women we knew about, so it's quite likely that he also slept with numerous other women. When someone's getting down and dirty like that so often, they're bound to contract a disease like AIDS. But of course, this theory has issues as well. Woods tested negative for the virus, and this was after she already slept with Eazy E. So if he caught it from one of his past partners, then Tamika should have contracted it as well. Keeping this in mind, it's hard to just treat this as a case of Eazy E getting with too many women. Another more crazy theory suggests that Eazy E was actually deliberately infected with AIDS. How could that have been done? Well, according to this theory, it was injected into him with a tainted injection. Tainted heroin needles are a common way of transmitting AIDS, but the thing is, Eazy E himself avoided illicit drugs, so they had to be secretly injected into him. Plus, Eazy E's death was insanely quick, less than 2 weeks after he announced what he was sick with, which made matters more confusing. After all, Magic Johnson, who announced that he had HIV in 1991, was still alive and well in 1995 and continues to live a healthy life in 2023. Even Arthur Ashe carried it for over 5 years before passing away. BG Knockout also talked about how he witnessed the illness firsthand since his younger brother had it. But when he compared how things were with his brother to what happened with Eazy E, it made no sense to him. He pointed to the fact that he was around Eric for the last 3 years of his life, and not once did the rapper show any symptoms of the illness. Because of this, conspiracy theorists claim that Eazy E was a victim of an intentional, lethal injection aimed at killing E as soon as possible. In fact, Frost, a former rapper for Ruthless Records, said that he believes this happened after Eazy got into a motorcycle accident. According to him, they were giving Eazy E tainted needles with the AIDS virus through acupuncture before asking, how else could somebody die that fast of AIDS? Even Eric's daughter, Ebe, refuses to accept that her dad died because he contracted AIDS from someone else, instead suggesting that it was a murder. Eazy E's son, Young Eazy, also thinks so, but he believes it was Suge Knight who did it. Some years back, Young Eazy posted a video of Knight's appearance on Jimmy Kimmel Live in 2003. and used this as evidence to support his theory that Knight was the man who injected Eazy E with AIDS. During the interview, Kimmel joked about wearing a bulletproof vest because of Suge's violent reputation, but then Knight said something incredibly suspicious. He started talking about the new thing to do when people want to kill someone without being caught easily. Kimmel's guest said that technology has become so advanced that they have this new thing out, before explaining that people buy blood from somebody with AIDS and then shoot their target with it. He ended by saying, "That's the slow death." Obviously, this raised a ton of eyebrows because many think that this is exactly what happened with Eazy E. And the fact that he not only talked about such a thing, but encouraged it, is pretty damning evidence that he was behind what happened to Eazy E. Not to mention, we all know Knight's a criminal who even ran over someone in 2015, so it's not hard to imagine that he murdered Eric. When you couple all of this with the fact that both men had a long-standing beef, it seems as if Knight was actually the man responsible for Eazy-E's death. Their rivalry was fierce and went on until Eazy's death in 1995, and it was all because they both wanted to be at the forefront of the hip-hop world. Things started getting really out of hand between both men when Eazy E and Dr. Dre started falling out, with Dre eventually aligning himself with Knight. But Suge used violence in order to get Dre to join forces with him. In fact, Knight beat up Eazy E so that he could get Dr. Dre out of his contract with Ruthless Records. And this pissed off Eazy big time, so he was set on getting Knight killed off. But Jerry Heller talked him out of that. Though Heller later said that he regrets doing this since Knight's such a terrible person who only causes trouble, as you can see, the rivalry was that bad. When Knight finally got Dre on his side, the two went on to form Death Row Records with the aim of overtaking Ruthless Records' spot in the hip-hop scene, so there was a ton of animosity. Not to mention, Eazy-E even sued Death Row Records for racketeering. They clearly had one of the craziest beefs of that time, so I'd say there's a pretty good chance Knight's the one who did it. Ice Cube isn't so sure about this theory. When he appeared on an episode of Logan Paul's Impulsive podcast, Logan's co-host Mike asked Cube about whether he thinks Knight injected Eazy-E, but Ice Cube didn't really give a clear answer. He started by asking, how would he do that? And Eazy would never tell anybody that. Mike then told him that the theory suggests Eazy had no idea, though Ice Cube still wasn't convinced, as he said that if someone pokes you with a needle, you'd know. So he believes Eazy would have instantly told someone if he felt a poke like that. But Cube went on to say that if it happened while Eric was unconscious, then the conspiracy lives on. Following that, Mike asked the rapper if he would put something like this past him, and all Cube said was that he doesn't put shit past nobody. Whatever the case, there's no doubt that this theory's wild yet super believable. That said, the craziest theory of them all is that the Jewish Defense League was behind Eazy's death. In case you didn't know, the JDLs are a right-wing Zionist organization that was identified by the Southern Poverty Law Center as an extremist group and as domestic terrorists by the FBI. Before Eazy died, the FBI was investigating an extortion attempt against him and Tupac by the JDL. According to a report from September 11, 1996, some members of the JDL made telephonic death threats to the rap star before another member of the league stepped in and contacted him to offer protection in exchange for a fee. Much like the other theories, there's no concrete evidence that the JDL were behind Eazy's death. But still, you never know what could have happened behind the scenes. Either way, I'd say it's not as convincing as the theory that Knight was behind Eazy-E's death. So, from the possible Jewish Defense League being behind Eazy-E's murder to his life taking a turn for the worse in February of 1995, that was everything on the mysterious final days of Eazy-E.